This video is continuing our roleplay story of a paladin struggling to keep his oath in a party full of rogues. You need to watch chapter 1 first, just click on the link in the pinned comment to get there. I hope you enjoy chapter 2. Sir Gullavane's cellmate was a woman named Morgana Thornheart, and Sir Gullivane can see that she's the very definition of a damsel in distress. Locked up by these vile goblins, no doubt through some nefarious means like planted contraband or a false accusation. But he can't just break out of jail and risk breaking his oath to uphold the law. The only way he could break free of this cell is if it was for a noble cause. Sir Gullivane turned to Morgana Thornheart and gave her his word that she would not die in this cell, but he explained that he can't simply break out. He was caught red-handed with stolen contraband, and he's waiting for his trial now, so she'd have to wait too.
That's great and all, but I don't really have time on my side. You do know I'm infected by a mind flayer parasite, right? I'll be dead by the time we stand trial.
They got to you as well then. I'm also infected, but this changes things. If I let you die in this cell, I'll have broken my word, so we've no choice but to leave. Once I've gotten you to safety, I'll return to stand trial. Sir Gullivane summoned his holy armaments and prepared for a prison break. But try as he might, he couldn't break down the door to their cell. He walked away from the door dismayed, telling Morgana he wasn't able to clear the path. But while his back was turned, Morgana Thornheart examined the door and opened it right up before saying,
Wait, look, Sir Gullivane, your attacks actually broke the lock. It opened up.
Marvelous! I suppose I shouldn't have doubted my immense strength so quickly. They headed towards the door, Sir Gullivane intending on explaining his noble goal to the goblins. But they weren't interested and attacked the jailbreakers on the spot. Sir Gullivane told Morgana to stay out of harm's way and let him handle it, but before he knew it, she was stabbing a goblin child in the back, and in a flash whipped out her hand crossbows and shot another goblin in the back. The battlefield erupted to chaos, and a cave bear escaped from its cell and joined the fray. Sir Gullivane knew this to be Halsin the druid, who he had come here to save. Sir Gullivane rushed into combat and put himself between the goblins and Morgana Thornheart, but it was clear she could handle herself far better than the average damsel in distress. Sir Gullivane didn't see how it happened, but somehow the druid Halsin was knocked out of his bear form after taking significant damage. But the druid was still standing, alive, and Sir Gullivane was focused on taking down the next threat, a pair of wargs threatening to escape their cage. Sir Gullivane struck down the first warg, and Morgana Thornheart sniped the second. Sir Gullivane then turned to greet Halsin, but to his horror, his eyes were met with a charred corpse. A trail of fire seemed to tell the story of what happened, but how did it spread? Halsin was already clear of the inferno when Sir Gullivane ran past him. Sir Gullivane addressed Morgana Thornheart. By the gods, what happened to the druid?
What do you mean what happened? The bear was ripping everyone to shreds. Shit was flying everywhere. Wait, there was a bear. What happened to it?
The girl seems rattled and confused by the battle. She doesn't know what happened, which is understandable. She likely hasn't seen as much combat as he has. Sir Gullivane reassured her and told her that she handled herself well. It's unfortunate the druid perished, but there's nothing anybody could have done. But as he said those words, his unflinching protector amulet vaporized, and no matter how hard he called upon his oath, he couldn't rearm himself with any of his missing jewelry. Troubling indeed. No time to think on it though, as Sir Gullivane ran into his stealthy companions moments later. It turns out they were coming to rescue him, which seemed strangely heroic and bold. Confused, Sir Gullivane asked what happened. The goblins attacked us, so we had no choice but to defend ourselves. Why did the goblins attack? They attacked because of what happened during Toad's show. You see, right as Todd Willard's show had started to delight the goblins, Sir Gullivane's treacherous larceny was discovered, and it had put a real damper on the event. So the goblins whisked Todd into Dror Ragsland's chambers with a simple instruction for a new show: bigger and more. With finesse and a flourish, the Weaver of Wonder pulled out his bag of tricks and reached into it in search of a pyrotechnic display. He was in a bit of a hurry to keep these goblins' attention, so he didn't have time to search the bag carefully. Thankfully, he has a secret technique for finding just the right thing in a flash, although it can sometimes be a touch unpredictable. An enormous pyrotechnic display flew out of his bag, taking their places all around the room. For this daring performance, Todd Willard would dive into the spider pit, setting off the pyrotechnics on his way down, and he'd perform a daring escape attempt that would be sure to delight his audience. Only his pyrotechnics turned out to have heavy emphasis on the pyro and not much in the way of technics. When Todd burst through the doorway, having escaped the spider pit, the audience didn't clap or cheer. They made no sound at all other than a soft sizzle you might hear when slapping meat down on a barbecue. On the bright side, Todd's performance was literally to die for, just not in the way he was hoping. The party explained that they'd really only had to fight the 3 goblins outside the warg pen. Lily sniped the first one, they shot back at Captain Fancy Pants McStabbins, and he was actually having a bit of a rough fight, to be honest. Lily helped him out by landing another sneak attack before vanishing, and Fancy Pants took another hit. Todd took down the second goblin, and finally the captain landed a hit to finish off the third. At any rate, Sir Gullivane doesn't have anybody left to stand trial for anymore, and the way is clear. That was easy. Well done, Tog. Very well done indeed. It's... never mind. The goblin threat in the region has been destroyed, wiped from existence by overzealous showmanship, but the druid the party was sent to save has perished. Bit of a mixed result to bring to the druid grove, a conversation nobody was thrilled about, which is why the party jumped at the opportunity to do literally anything else but go to the druid grove.
If you don't mind, could you escort me home? Some company would be nice.
Fear not, the roads will be safe today as long as I am here. Morgana Thornheart was leading the way back to her home, but she couldn't remember exactly where to go, and the party walked right into an uncomfortable encounter with some gnolls and some bloated hyenas. The party got to work, cutting down the hyena, and Morgana was showing a shocking battlefield prowess yet again. Sir Gullivane even wondered if her skills might rival his own. More gnolls swarmed the battlefield. Todd tossed some flames, and Morgana showed him up with a fire arrow. It took a bit of hard work, but before long the gnolls were completely wiped out, and the battle ended with another flame toss from Todd and a strike from Sir Gullivane. But around the corner, Morgana noticed a cave and a struggle, exclaiming,
It sounds like there's people in trouble up ahead. I'll see if there's another way into the cave to help while you fight the gnolls.
And she took off. Sir Gullivane prepared to battle a small army of gnolls. Captain Fancy Pants McStabbins blinded the gnoll commander with pocket sand and stabbed at it before stepping away, and Morgana Thornheart took her position to defend the humans from the gnoll assault. Seeing the dangerous battle ahead, Todd whipped out his bag of tricks and reached into it frantically, and out of nowhere came a devastating hailstorm. Nobody saw where it came from, but its impact was immense. It killed several gnolls and sent others running. Sir Gullivane stepped up and wiped out the gnoll's commander and pressed the assault. The captain was once again fighting in the front lines by his side. Before long, the gnolls had been ravaged and a total victory was achieved, no casualties. Or so Sir Gullivane thought. The men they had tried to save were butchered. As he looked up, he saw Morgana Thornheart standing above their corpses, and he jumped up to question her. How did this happen? I was certain we'd saved them.
Well, the adult caught an arrow to the chest before I even got here. I watched the boy in his state of shock hesitate and fumble his alchemist fire. Seriously, if I only had gotten there sooner, this entire disaster could have been so easily prevented.
Sir Gullivane was in disbelief, but when he turned to look at the battlefield, it was a mess. It's not hard to believe an untrained boy could fumble an alchemist's fire when faced with the ferocity of gnolls. A disaster, but there's no one at fault. They simply didn't arrive in time. As they left, Sir Gullivane's gloves vanished from his hands, no longer answering his oath's call. Perhaps exhaustion is taking a toll on him. He'll try again later. The party left the cave to continue escorting Morgana home. Guess she's not great with directions because she led the party right back to where they'd started. She said she must have gotten turned around, and she ran down the trail to find her home. Except smoke filled the air as a fire blazed. Morgana was panicked, and she rushed forward, attempting to force her way into the building. Sir Gullivane moved forward and smashed the door for her, and they both rushed into the burning building. Morgana saw somebody in danger and smashed her way in, except an explosion sent her and Sir Gullivane flying. Sir Gullivane landed on the first floor, and he charged back through the house and up the stairs to help, but he was horrified by what he saw when he reached the room. Through falling debris and smoke, it appeared Morgana Thornheart had just executed a helpless man. And upon getting a closer look, there was indeed a dead man, trapped under a beam, but slain by Morgana's own hand. Sir Gullivane jumped clear of the flames, but this conflict is far from over. Suddenly, Morgana dropped to her knees. Surely she doesn't think she could explain cold-blooded murder away by acting a little sad. Sir Gullivane accused her directly. "I saw you kill that poor man in cold blood. What have you to say in your defense?"
I just had to kill my own brother, and you're asking me what I would have done? Why weren't you faster? You could have actually helped me lift that beam to save him.
You murdered him because I wasn't fast enough? That's absurd.
He was suffering. I could see the pain in his eyes. He begged me for a quick death. Do you think this was easy for me to do?
Sir Gullivane paused to consider her story. Death by incineration would be agonizing, and the small girl couldn't have lifted such a heavy beam on her own. In a moment of misery, she acted to spare her brother an agonizing death? Could that really be right? Sir Gullivane's head is spinning. There's been so much tragedy in one day, and Morgana Thornheart seems to be at the center of it. But before he could say any more, Morgana told him that she needed a moment to clear her head, and she walked away. Sir Gullivane's oath weakened further as his helmet faded from his head. What is happening to him, he started to wonder, when all of a sudden an explosion interrupted his thoughts, and he turned to investigate. Upon running into the building, he found yet another charred corpse, and Morgana Thornheart was nowhere to be found. He searched for her, and he found her cowering in the basement. She's been caught red-handed, and Sir Gullivane accused her of exploding the man upstairs by igniting the fire wine.
Ever since I met you, people have died left and right. Do you think that's a bit too coincidental? I go up ahead, and suddenly it's my fault the fire wine exploded. Luckily, I was in the cellar. Are you trying to get rid of me the same way you intended for my brother?
Sir Gullivane was dumbfounded. She thinks he's the one doing all this, and she's afraid of him? What is happening today? He feels like his brain is going to break. And suddenly Morgana said,
There's a system of caves my family used to take. I'm gonna go up on ahead, and I do think it's best if we part ways. Honestly, I think you're a curse, and I would have been a lot safer without you.
She vanished, but Sir Gullivane knew something was up, and he chased after her. His cape has faded away into nothingness as his oath is crumbling under the weight of slaughtered innocents. There were merchants down in the caves, and Sir Gullivane finally laid his eyes on Morgana Thornheart, standing back by the entrance somehow. Looking right at him, she shot a fire arrow and detonated the merchants. A single remaining merchant attacked Sir Gullivane, thinking he's in on it, and he defended himself by striking her down. Sir Gullivane shouted across the chasm at Morgana, "You're a monster! You've been killing people all day long!"
I've killed those people? No, Sir Gullivane. We killed all those people, and it's been a beautiful slaughter. As fun as it's been, I really must be going now.
I'll kill you! You won't get away with this!
But if you're killing me, who will save them from the spectator?
How could you? They'll be killed!
Maybe we'll meet again, Sir Gullible. That is, if you survive the spectator.
And Morgana Thornheart made for the exit, leaving the party in quite a predicament. Thanks for watching Chapter 2, and you can get early access to Chapter 3 right now if you're a channel member or supporting me on Patreon. Just follow the links in the video description. Otherwise, Chapter 3 will be posted for everybody in a week. Bye-bye!